You ever had that pit of the stomach feeling? Maybe it was just before you did a big sales presentation, before you walked into the office, maybe you're going into your boss to ask for a raise or going in to see a new potential client. You know, we've all struggled at one point or another with building up our self-confidence. And the real question is, how do we build unshakable self-confidence? So much self-confidence that nothing can stop us. Hey, click that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on videos just like this on how to build self-confidence, how to stay motivated, and how to sell more. And if you click the bell, you'll be notified as soon as a video comes out so you can watch this before there becomes a backlog of people trying to watch these videos. I don't think that's the case, but nonetheless, it could happen. You better click the bell, so make sure you do. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore, and I've been studying the habits of top sales performers for over 20 years. It's a long time, and I still have more to learn, but nonetheless, I'm here to share what I know with you. And what I do know is this: in the sales professionals that I coach each and every day and each and every week, self-confidence is one of the greatest assets that we have. But it's also one of the greatest downfalls, meaning that not a lot of us can sustain our self-confidence, and very few of us ever build it to a level in which it's unshakable. So what I want to do today is share with you the very strategies that I've seen top sales performers and just top performers in general use to build their unshakable self-confidence. So let's jump into it. Unshakable self-confidence is really, it begins with an attitude. Just because you seem to have confidence doesn't mean you actually do, but you have to act like it. You've heard that old statement that you've got to fake it before you make it, right? And that's really what it comes down to when it comes to self-confidence. Now, what we're trying to build though is unshakable. Self-confidence that's so strong that no matter what happens, it does not fall apart, fade away, right? So here's what I've learned as far as those people that have unshakable self-confidence. Step one, this might sound kind of counterintuitive, they're very clear on their weaknesses. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, people who are self-confident obviously know their strengths and they capitalize on those strengths. They use those strengths to their advantage, but they're also very clear on their weaknesses. Now, it doesn't mean that they share their weaknesses. If I wasn't really good at calligraphy, I wouldn't go around offering calligraphy service and say that they're mediocre, right? I would try and avoid writing calligraphy. Even though calligraphy is, it's where the fancy, the fancy writing, right? So I wouldn't go around and offer a service like that. I'd probably have somebody else that's really good at it do that calligraphy, right? So people who have this unshakable self-confidence are very clear on their weaknesses, and they find ways to compensate, whether that means they bring somebody else in, sometimes it means they actually try and improve in that area, sometimes they just avoid it altogether. But what they don't do is get down about the fact that they've got weaknesses, because we all do. And if you ask them about it, they'll tell you, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. They don't hold any shame about that, but they have already found ways to compensate for that weakness. People who have unshakable self-confidence are also very positive about themselves. Now, hear me out. That may sound obvious, but here's the point I want to make. People who have unshakable self-confidence speak positively about themselves. You'll never hear themselves putting themselves down. If they talk about a weakness, they're forthright. I'm not good at calligraphy, but I know somebody who is. And they don't hold any shame in that. Here's the key around this positivity. You've heard about positive self-talk. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to stand in front of a mirror and say things over and over to convince yourself. And again, that's woo-woo stuff, that's not practical. But what my experience has been is that if you catch yourself saying something negative, like, oh, I should have got that deal, or I should have closed that, or it should have been more money, I should have done that sooner, you've got to catch yourself and stop yourself. I call these triggers, and make sure when these happen, it sets off a trigger in your mind to say, okay, as soon as I say something negative about myself, I'm going to counteract it with something positive, or at least validate it, right? So if I was to catch myself saying, oh, I should have got that deal and I didn't, say, okay, trigger, and say, oh, you know what though? There's a lot more deals to be had, and if it didn't happen for a reason. There's always another opportunity. Who else can I call today, right? So positive view of yourself really means that you understand that the past is in the past. It's over, it's done. If you're carrying it with you, it's because you're choosing to. And that's something you need to deal with, right? You need to set the past in the past. The future is yours for the taking. But in order to do that, you need to be positive and speak positively about yourself. So if you find that you're not, even if it's in your head or it's under your breath, you need to counteract that negative talk with something positive. Hey, if you're enjoying these tips around how to have unshakable self-confidence, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all of these videos I release each and every week to help you build confidence and be more successful in sales and in life. But also make sure you hit that bell because you'll be notified as soon as a video comes out, because although I say I release them Tuesdays, you just never know when it's coming, do you? Okay, strategy number 3 when it comes to building unshakable self-confidence. Set goals that are reasonably achievable. The key word is reasonably achievable. Now, you've heard me talk before about setting goals, and I think that's important. But if you set goals that are so far out there that you're never going to achieve them, that's not good either. Now, some would tell you that, hey, set big goals, because if you set big goals, even if you miss it, you're still going to be farther ahead. To some degree, but I know for me, I've tried that. I just get bummed out because I like to hit my goals. I don't want to miss the goal, and I definitely don't want to miss it by a lot. And I find it hard sometimes to set goals that are that big because I don't know what the time frame should be. So set goals that you can achieve. Sure, they might be a little bit of a stretch for you, but make sure there's something you can achieve. And then when you achieve them, celebrate them. Don't just say, okay, that's great, big deal, move on. Right? Do whatever it is that makes you feel good about celebrating. Share it with somebody. Pour yourself a drink, go play ball with your kids, go for a run, whatever it is that you enjoy, take time to celebrate these goals and then set more. But make sure the goals you set are reasonably achievable. Otherwise, you'll always be trying to pursue something that you're never going to get to, and that does not help our self-confidence. This last tip in order to build unshakable self-confidence is key. You want to surround yourself with supportive people. Notice I didn't say positive people. Right? It's difficult sometimes to have every single person in your life be optimistic and positive. It doesn't always work that way, especially when it comes to family, right? But surround yourself with positive people, people that generally look at the world as a glass half full. Now, you might say to me, well, Shawn, I'm in a relationship I can't get out of. Okay, I mean, that's your choice if you can't get out of it. But what I really suggest to do, especially when it comes to your business life and your business environment, is surround yourself there. So if you're spending time with coworkers who are very pessimistic, very negative, it's not going to help you. So choose a mentor, a boss, a coach, a coworker who is optimistic, who is positive, and spend time with them. Surround yourself with people who are optimistic and have an optimistic view, because if you do that, it's going to help you. Being around people who are negative will only make you more negative. So you've got to find ways to put yourself around people who are optimistic and positive. I know from a personal standpoint, sometimes that's not always possible, but you've got to do the best you can. And on a business level, maybe not a personal level, but a business level, you can typically find these kind of people. Heck, even if you have to pay for it. I've got a business mentor. I've had them for years. Why do I use them? Because they're optimistic, they're positive, and they always help me focus on moving forward, even when I might not be there mentally. So make sure you surround yourself with positive people, because regardless of anything else, that's the one thing that can bring you down faster than all other causes. So if you have that person, they're going to help you build your own self-confidence and challenge you when you're not thinking optimistically. Hey, if you've enjoyed these strategies on how to build unshakable self-confidence, make sure you click that subscribe button and hit the bell. You can be notified each and every time I release a new video and stay up to date in all these videos that will help you to sell more. Now, if you want to build up unshakable self-confidence, you have to be setting some goals. I talked about that. And in order to set goals, you've got to be able to track your progress against them, right? So I've created for you what I call a 30-day action planner. There's a link below you can click. You can get it for free, and it gives you a spot where you can write down your goals and track your progress against those goals. So make sure you click the link, grab it for free, no obligation, put it to good use. It's going to help you stay on track and build up your self-confidence as you achieve your goals. Now, if you've been able to build up your self-confidence and you've mastered that part, what you're also going to need to do is be able to master skills, because what tends to happen is our confidence builds as our skills build, right? They work together. They're not separate from one another. The more skills you have, the greater your confidence will be. And if you're in sales, the more sales skills you have, the greater your selling confidence will be, and the greater your confidence will be when you are selling. So what you'll want to do is check out this video next on mastering those key top sales skills, because they're going to help you feel more confident and be more confident when you're going out there and selling. Hey, it's Shawn. Thanks again for joining me on this video. Make sure you check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. And until next time, we'll see you later.